Having trouble finding good employees? You need to use AI to help in your recruiting process. I have a conversation with Beaumont Vance. He's the Senior Vice President of Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence at Paychex. My name is Gene Marks. Our conversation covers AI and recruiting. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome to Paychex Thrive, a business podcast where you'll hear timely insights to help you navigate marketplace dynamics and propel your business forward. Here's your host, Gene Marks.
Okay, I'm here with Beaumont Vance from Paychex. Beaumont, and I have to read this up. Senior Vice President, Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence here at Paychex. We had talked before about about developing applications internally at companies, right? Which your job is very much involved in doing that, but you're very much involved in developing applications for Paychex customers.
That's right.
And one application I know that is first and foremost is Copilot, right? And is it Paychex Copilot? Is that what how you're branding it?
Yeah. Paychex Recruiting Copilot.
Paychex Recruiting Copilot.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So I have to give you the history on it a little bit.
Okay.
So I used to work for a private equity fund, and our job was to scour the earth for the best technologies. And we came across this one company that was highly disruptive in the recruiting industry. And for the past, 400, 500, 600 years, we've been finding candidates the same way,
right,
with a post. We still call it a post,
right,
because we literally used to print something up and stick it on a post, right? And then now we put it on websites, but it's the same thing. It's essentially you're putting something out there and you're hoping somebody responds to it. And when we at Paychex talk to our clients, the number one or number two dissatisfier or challenge that they face year after year is finding good talent.
Right.
Everyone in business knows this is hard to find talent. And the question is why? Well, part of the reason is because we have a really broken system for finding talent. It's expensive, it's inefficient, and it really doesn't work that well. You don't find the best talent. And I happen to work with a guy named Brian Rankin, who was the president and CEO of Egon Zehnder for about 23 years.
Yep.
So he knew this industry really well. And we came across this company called Findem.
Yep.
And Findem did this completely differently. Rather than you go and just sort of cast out your lure and hope that somebody finds it and you bring it, you reel in the right candidate. Instead, what they did is they had a database of 750 million qualified candidates. And so you could go into their system and you could do a query, and it had a beautiful AI assist on it, but really the data was the powerful part. And you could get a definitive list of every qualified candidate on the globe.
Yep.
And then you could restrict it down and say, I just want them in Philly or Rochester or wherever it might be. But you could get a definitive list of all the qualified candidates in the area you were looking that met exactly your criteria. And the beauty is,
whether they were looking for a job or not.
That's the beauty of it, is what anyone in the recruiting industry will tell you is that the best candidates are not looking for jobs. They're employed.
Yeah.
And they're probably happily employed. And they're not looking. They're not going on LinkedIn or Monster or Indeed or anyplace else, right?
Yeah.
So if you can find them and you can reach out to them, and then you have a chance to sell them on the opportunity that you have. And where I think this was really poignant, for us, we were thinking about using it for small businesses in the venture capital world, but it's because they don't have brand recognition.
Sure.
They're not Meta, they're not Apple.
Sure.
You get a call from Goldman Sachs, sure, you're going to take that call.
Yeah, sure.
But you get a call from ABC Manufacturing down the street.
Group.
Right, yeah.
You're not gonna
Who
take
are
that
these
call.
guys? Right, yeah, exactly. So what it does is it gives a small operator an opportunity to reach out to qualified candidates and then pitch them. And I use this internally. Over the holidays, I was just hiring a candidate that I found in Rochester. Perfect background. In fact, within seconds, I found 10 qualified candidates in Rochester.
But I just you were talking about what you were invested in before.
Yeah.
I mean, is this what Copilot is doing?
So what HR Copilot does is you can do a search a number of ways. One, you can just type in free form because it has AI. You can just say, I'm looking for a barista who has background at 3 years of background and has worked at Starbucks at least once.
Okay.
And hit enter, and it will give you all the candidates that match that criteria.
Wow.
And then you can limit them down. And then when you find the candidate that you like, you can press a button and AI will write a bespoke, tailored message to that person and send them an email.
Where's the data coming from?
So the data is coming from 172 all public sources.
Got it.
So this is going back and looking at people who have voluntarily agreed to post their information.
Okay.
Because they were looking for a job at one point.
I see.
Right, or
Okay.
they're putting their information on LinkedIn. But it uses only publicly available
Okay.
information.
So this is not Paychex data that's
This is
being
not-
used?
no,
Because
no,
that would be a concern to me.
No
right?
Paychex data has been
Good.
harmed in
Wanna be clear
building this
about that.
product. I want to
Right.
be very clear. We have the highest ethical standards, and,
Right.
and we went through a very long, deep due diligence process with Findem, and to check, they actually adhere to the GDPR standards, which are higher than even California's standards.
Okay.
So we are always operating at the highest ethical standard, which is above the legal standard.
Good.
At Paychex. And I can tell you personally, I've had this conversation with the board of directors. It is number one, the most important thing before we do anything, that we have to check that box.
Good.
And so the data that we're using is never going to be shady data or scraped data from dubious sources.
Right.
It's always going to be completely clean.
Got it. So it's somebody that's been looking before. So if somebody placed an ad out on a publicly accessible site, then
Yes.
that's the kind of data that, as long as you have permission to get it, that you can get that for. And Paychex is positioned to do this because you guys are in the HR space, right? I mean, this seems to be. So what more then would Copilot offer? Besides, say we found those, I found that barista, for example, that I'm interested in. What more would the platform do, or what are you planning that the platform would be
I
doing?
would say that's a lot already.
It is a lot.
I would say it's a lot.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So what it can do,
Aren't you satisfied, you greedy person?
I found you qualified candidate. Gene, if you can't get them into your business, that's
That's a
your
good point.
problem, my friend.
I can see
However,
that.
what I can tell you, so two things. Number one, it can integrate with your ATS,
Okay.
so that it will eliminate the manual data entry. So it'll just slide right over into your ATS system,
Great.
which is lovely. And then for how to get that candidate in the door, and for any questions around what type of package to offer them and whether it's competitive and how do you do this, we actually have HR professionals. This is where the human comes in.
Gotcha.
Because now we're getting into the realm of human expertise, right?
Right.
How do you talk to another human being and get them to come on and work for you? Because they're going to be working with you as a person, not with your AI system, right? And that's where we have HR professionals that can help people out if they need that.
Got it. So Recruiting Copilot, how long ago was this introduced?
We launched it in September.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing.
Yes.
And tell me what the experience has been so far.
The experience has been fantastic. I mean, I can tell you, I speak weekly to our recruiting staff, and they're the ones who are actually using it. So I've got sort of user feedback, and that's all they do. They're just looking for candidates all the time. Paychex does a lot of hiring, and they're absolutely over the moon because, as I mentioned, it flips the whole script on them. Before there was like, as a manager, I would say I want to hire somebody.
Sure.
They'd do a post.
Right.
I'd say, call them. Have we got anybody yet? Well, yeah, we got a lot of people, but none of them are qualified. But we're still going through resumes because it takes a long time to go through resumes. Okay, and then call them next week. Have we got anybody yet? No, we're still going through resumes. And one of the positions I had open, I was hiring actually an AI specialist. I had 284 candidates apply over 6 weeks, none of whom were qualified. What am I supposed to do with that as a manager? Like, I mean, months go by, and I have needs. And for a small business, as I mentioned, I grew up in a small business. If we were missing somebody, what that meant was I had to step in and fill that position, or my dad had to step in and fill that position. Like, and if you're 3, 4, 5 weeks, and if you're going into busy season, that's painful. Not only is it painful, you're losing revenue. You can't service customers. You can't say yes to revenue when you don't get enough candidates. And especially in like the medical field and hospitals, their census actually goes down if they can't get enough staff to legally meet the requirements of for their patients. So it's a revenue issue, and it's a sanity issue, and it's a workload issue for so many people. You can't afford that 6 week wait. So what this really does is it truncates it down, where in a few minutes you can get qualified candidates, and you can start going out and proactively outreaching to them and getting them in.
See, the value that I see in that, I just, so like I'm right now in the midst of looking for a developer for one of the products that we sell, in my company. And, and I'm placing it on the standard sites, right? I'm not using, Recruiting Copilot, which I should be, because, I'm only getting people that are responding that are looking for jobs. So that's number one. And they might not be the best candidates, as you said. Yeah. And number two is I am getting a lot of garbage responses. I mean, I'm literally getting people that are answering questions falsely. I was like, do you have experience with this product? And they're like, yes, I have 4 years experience. And then there's like, no, I'm talking, they don't, because they just want to get, so it's wasting my time doing that.
Right.
So number one is it would provide me that fast response of people that are out there that actually have that experience, because you found them for me, whether they're looking or not. But then I got to tell you, the other thing is that I get back to the human side. Like, I would need help from an HR specialist to help. Say I've got that list of people that specialize in that product. I kind of need help reaching out to those people, right? And that's
Yeah.
the kind of services then that your
Yeah.
HR recruiting crew would provide, right?
Yes, and we also have we have a recruiting team.
Yes.
That you can also hire to do that for you as well too. So we can do anything from we can post on job boards if you like that.
Right.
We have an agreement with Indeed. We have HR Recruiting Copilot, which is the AI piece. We
Right.
have HR professionals who can help advise you, and then we also have a recruiting team that can recruit for you.
Got it.
So anything you need. That's the thing. One of the things I love about Paychex. Look, growing up in a small business, fighting against the big guys all the time.
Yep.
Is I love platform solutions.
Yep.
I love that, look, running a retail store like my father did is all your brain. Full-time job, managing the employees and everything you have to do. Trying to manage taxes, regulation, compliance, hiring, HR issues, all those things are so far outside of the core competency for running most successful businesses. That what attracted me about Paychex is that it is this platform that people can plug into, and they don't have to worry about all that stuff. They can plug into our 50 plus years of expertise, all of our long-term experts who have seen thousands of cases and have tremendous wisdom around these things, and we'll share that wisdom with you. You can plug into that and not have to worry about it. You can go run your business and make money. That's what you're trying to do, right?
I got to ask this because it's the first question on any business owner's mind, and to the ability that you can answer. How is what's the investment? What's the cost of something like this, or like what's involved? This is an extra service from Paychex, right?
Right.
Over
Yeah.
and above.
This is a standalone product because we did it in partnership with an existing company called Findem.
Yep.
You can go on and you can get 3 candidates for free
Yep.
and try it out and see how it works.
Okay.
For $99, you can get a one-time use, and if you have, if you don't do that much hiring, for
Okay.
$99 you can fill one position and it'll give you, many candidates. For $250 a month, you get a much larger, expanded amount of candidates that you can do for if you're hiring multiple jobs. And if you're doing hiring all the time and you need a really robust system, for $650 a month, you can
Wow.
purchase that service.
That is amazing. Do you have to be an existing Paychex customer to do this?
No, absolutely do not. No, we felt like this is so disruptive and so powerful on
Yeah.
its own
Yeah.
that it doesn't have to be tied to anything else that we do. We just want to get out there and help businesses solve their biggest problem.
Do you find it amazing that I host a podcast for Paychex? I have not used this. I'm in the middle of a job search.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Gene, why didn't you call me?
This gives you an idea of how ignorant
How long
I
have you
am
been doing this?
sometimes.
I
know.
could have solved this for you
I missed
months ago.
I missed the boat. Okay, I'm going to have to change what I'm doing, so thank you. You learn something new every day. Beaumont fans, thank you very much for joining.
Thanks, Gene. Great to be here.
Do you have a topic or a guest that you would like to hear on Thrive? Please let us know. Visit payx.me/Thrive Topics and send us your ideas or matters of interest. Also, if your business is looking to simplify your HR, payroll, benefits, or insurance services, see how Paychex can help. Visit the resource hub at paychex.com/works. That's WORX. Paychex can help manage those complexities while you focus on all the ways you want your business to thrive. I'm your host, Gene Marks, and thanks for joining us. Till next time, take care.
This podcast is property of Paychex Incorporated 2025, all rights reserved.